Hello, Jungkook fans, and welcome back to Jungkook News. Something surprisingly special has just unfolded in Jungkook's world with Chanel, and this time, it's not about a stage, a performance, or a new song. Jungkook has stepped into the world of fragrance for a fascinating meeting with Chanel perfumer Olivier Polge, and the moment he revealed that he had actually wanted to meet him in person made the entire encounter feel even more meaningful. But what exactly happened between Jungkook and the creative mind behind Chanel 1957? And why is this quiet conversation getting so much attention? Stay with us, because the details behind this elegant meeting may be more special than they first appear. Jungkook's latest moment with Chanel is turning heads for a reason that goes far beyond a simple fragrance campaign. In a newly revealed scene surrounding Chanel 1957, Jungkook meets Olivier Polge, one of the key figures behind Chanel's world of fragrance, and what makes this encounter especially interesting is the way the two of them talk about the meaning and atmosphere of 1957. It feels less like a typical promotional appearance and more like a quiet meeting between two people connected by the same artistic world. The moment begins with Jungkook appearing in a simple black outfit, sitting comfortably as he speaks with Olivier Polge. There is no need for an extravagant setting or dramatic styling to make the scene stand out. Jungkook's presence naturally draws attention. His calm expression and relaxed attitude create an intimate atmosphere, almost as if viewers are being allowed to witness a private conversation rather than a carefully staged advertisement. And that subtle feeling is exactly what makes this Chanel moment so captivating. For Jungkook, this collaboration carries a deeper meaning because he is not simply representing a fashion house. He is representing Chanel fragrance and beauty, entering a world where storytelling is expressed through something that cannot even be seen. Scent. Chanel 1957 is presented as a fragrance surrounded by an idea of light, elegance, and radiance. Instead of simply talking about a bottle or a product, the concept invites people to imagine a feeling, something soft, luminous, and almost impossible to describe with words alone. Then comes Olivier Polge, the Chanel perfumer whose work is closely connected to the creation of the house's fragrances. Seeing Jungkook sit across from him creates an unexpected kind of chemistry. Jungkook represents a new generation of global pop culture, while Olivier represents the highly specialized world of French fragrance craftsmanship. Their meeting brings those two worlds together in a surprisingly natural way. Music, fashion, beauty, and perfume all meeting in one conversation. One of the most touching details comes from the words shown during the video. Jungkook expresses that he had actually wanted to meet Olivier in person. It is a small sentence, but it changes the feeling of the entire scene. Suddenly, this is not just another celebrity appearance with a luxury brand. There is genuine curiosity behind the interaction. Jungkook appears interested in the person and creativity behind the fragrance itself, and that makes the conversation feel much more personal. For fans who have followed Jungkook's journey with Chanel, this is another fascinating chapter. His relationship with the brand has continued to show different sides of his image, sometimes elegant and powerful, sometimes effortlessly casual, and now more closely connected to the artistic world of fragrance. With 1957, the focus shifts away from performance and toward atmosphere. Jungkook doesn't need a stage, a microphone, or a huge production to command attention. Sitting quietly and talking about fragrance is enough to create a completely different kind of impact. And there is something particularly interesting about the number 1957. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary year, but within Chanel's fragrance universe, it carries a very specific identity. The fragrance is inspired by the idea of light and radiance, giving it a character that feels refined rather than overwhelming. That makes Jungkook's involvement especially fitting. His image in this campaign is not presented as loud or aggressive. Instead, it leans toward sophistication, warmth, and quiet confidence. Watching Jungkook and Olivier Polge together also reveals a side of Jungkook that fans do not always get to see. He appears attentive, thoughtful, and genuinely engaged in the conversation. There is a certain calmness in the way he listens and responds, the kind of presence that allows the smallest expressions to become part of the story. A glance, a smile, or a short reaction suddenly feels meaningful because the entire atmosphere is so understated. That is perhaps what makes this Chanel 1957 encounter different. It does not rely on a huge announcement or an overwhelming spectacle. Instead, it builds its appeal through a simple idea: Jungkook meeting the person behind the fragrance and discovering the story of 1957 directly through conversation. It feels elegant, personal and carefully crafted, much like the fragrance itself. For Jungkook fans, the encounter is also another reminder of how far his global influence has reached. A Korean artist sitting down with one of the most respected names in the fragrance industry might seem like a small moment on screen, but the symbolism is much bigger. Jungkook is moving comfortably between music, fashion, beauty, and luxury, and each new appearance reveals another dimension of his growing global image. There is also something refreshing about seeing him in a setting where he does not have to prove anything. He is simply there listening, talking, and experiencing the moment. That effortless quality has become one of Jungkook's strongest characteristics, and Chanel seems to understand exactly how to capture it. Rather than changing who he is to fit the campaign, the presentation allows his natural personality to become part of the story. As the conversation continues, the atmosphere surrounding Chanel 1957 becomes even more intriguing. The fragrance is described through imagery of light and brilliance, but Jungkook gives that concept a human presence. His calm demeanor, understated style, and natural expressions create a visual connection with the idea of something elegant that does not need to demand attention to be noticed. And perhaps that is the real reason this meeting stands out. Jungkook did not need a dramatic entrance. Olivier Polge did not need a grand introduction. The fragrance did not need an exaggerated presentation. Two creative worlds simply came together, and somehow, that was enough. This is Jungkook in a completely different setting, not on a concert stage, not behind a microphone, but inside the world of fragrance, sitting across from the person who helped shape Chanel's olfactory universe. And as fans watch this quiet encounter unfold, one thing becomes clear: sometimes the most memorable Jungkook moments are the ones that appear simple at first, but reveal something much bigger the longer you look at them. What makes this appearance even more interesting is the contrast between Jungkook's global superstar image and the quiet nature of the conversation. Millions of people know him for his performances, powerful vocals, and unforgettable stage presence, yet here, the focus is completely different. There are no flashing lights or roaring crowds. Instead, viewers get to see Jungkook in a much more relaxed environment, allowing his personality and curiosity to become the center of attention. The conversation surrounding Chanel 1957 also highlights how fragrance can become a form of personal expression. Unlike clothing, which can immediately be seen, perfume exists much more subtly. It becomes part of the atmosphere around a person, something that others may notice without immediately knowing where it comes from. That idea fits beautifully with the way Jungkook is presented in this campaign. His presence is understated, but impossible to ignore. There is also something symbolic about Jungkook learning directly from Olivier Polge. For someone who has spent years developing his own artistic identity through music, meeting another creator who expresses himself through fragrance creates an interesting connection. Their creative fields may be completely different, but the principle is similar. Both are about creating emotions that stay with people long after the moment is over. A song can bring back a memory, and a fragrance can do exactly the same thing. That is why the short interaction between Jungkook and Olivier feels bigger than it first appears. It is not simply about introducing another Chanel fragrance. It is about bringing together two different forms of artistry. Jungkook brings his own personality, history, and cultural influence, while Olivier brings years of experience in the world of perfumery. When those worlds meet, Chanel 1957 becomes more than just a name on a bottle. It becomes the center of a story. For fans watching closely, even the smallest details can become memorable. Jungkook's expressions, the way he listens, and the comfortable atmosphere around him all contribute to the feeling of authenticity. There is no sense that he needs to force a reaction. Instead, everything feels natural and controlled, which makes the footage surprisingly easy to watch again and again. And perhaps that is exactly what Chanel wanted people to notice. Luxury does not always have to be loud. Sometimes, luxury is found in a quiet conversation, a carefully chosen fragrance, or a single moment shared between two creative minds. Jungkook's appearance captures that idea perfectly: elegant without being excessive, sophisticated without losing warmth. As this Chanel 1957 moment continues to attract attention, fans are once again getting a glimpse of how naturally Jungkook fits into the luxury and beauty world. His ability to move between completely different environments has become one of the most fascinating parts of his career. One day he can be the center of a massive musical performance, and the next he can sit quietly in a fragrance conversation and create an entirely different kind of impact. And that may be the most memorable part of this entire encounter. Jungkook does not need to do something extraordinary to make people pay attention. Sometimes, simply watching him discover something new, listen to another artist, and share a genuine moment is enough. In a world filled with constant noise, this quiet Chanel 1957 conversation feels almost refreshing, and that is exactly why fans may remember it long after the campaign is over. And that brings us to the end of this beautiful Chanel 1957 moment with Jungkook. From his meeting with Olivier Polge to the quiet details that revealed another side of Jungkook, this was truly a moment worth remembering. What did you think about Jungkook's special interaction with the Chanel perfumer? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to Jungkook News, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the latest Jungkook updates, moments, and stories. Thank you for watching, stay with us, and we'll see you in the next video.